Working with sellers is the optimal way to grow your business as a real estate agent. It'll bring referrals. That's where you'll meet all your clients. It's a business card for you going forward. What it means is that someone else has entrusted with you all of their confidence to sell their home, which is their biggest asset ever. The more of those sellers you're able to get, the more of your business you'll be able to grow. And I've always liked to think of listings as income inventory. The more inventory you're able to control, the more income you'll be able to control as well. Because real estate is all about inventory, and inventory equals income. So you want to try to control market share if you can. And if you can't, you just want to try to get as many listings as possible because it's going to create more work. Now, working with sellers for me is broken down into two phases. Phase one is getting the listing. Now, we spent most of this course really talking about how to meet people in the first place. What do you do when you're with them? How do you talk to them? How to get that seller in the first place? And so now we're going to talk about what you do once you've set that appointment. So you've got someone who wants to sell their home. Now what? What do you do? Do you just show up at any time? Do you set an appointment? Do you dress professionally? Do you not? So first, yes, you are your own walking office, right? You're gonna go meet a seller in their home. So you wanna make sure, really simply, and I don't even know why we have to go through this, but I'm going to do it. You wanna make sure that you look nice, you wanna make sure that you smell nice, and you wanna make sure that you have good breath, all right? If you remember anything from this course, remember that. I've met a lot of real estate agents who forget that going on a seller's pitch is like going on a date. It's just like a first date. You want to show them the best representation of yourselves, okay? Because first impressions, if you're not careful, are also last impressions. And you've worked so hard to even get that seller to meet with you in the first place, you're gonna let it go away because you weren't professional when you showed up to meet with them in their home? What are you, crazy? Little things like asking, should you take your shoes off instead of walking on their carpet with your gross muddy shoes that their baby plays on. Boom, no listing for you because you just almost killed their child. Little things like that you want to think about, all right? So now you're trying to make that best first impression. Now think about this as a first date, okay? What's the most important thing to do on a first date? Don't get weird on me. Really think about it. What is it? It's the power of listening. What do people love to do more than anything else? It's talk about themselves. Why do you think I'm doing this course? Just kidding. When you talk about yourself, it literally releases endorphins. It makes you feel good. And when someone listens to you and actually listens, it makes you feel even better because it's like people in the world care. And what do homeowners like doing more than talking about themselves? It's talking about their homes because their homes are their babies, especially homeowners who built their homes or who renovated their homes or who literally raised their babies there. So what I want you to focus on more than anything in that listing presentation aren't all the details about how you're gonna advertise, how you're gonna market, why you're better than everybody else. That's all important, but I want you to ask questions. I want you to ask more questions than you've ever asked before. I want you to ask questions about when they moved in, why they chose this neighborhood. How much fun have they had here? Have they had good birthday parties in this house? And ask questions that elicit some negative answers as well. Like, what don't you like about the house? What don't you like about the fact that the master bedroom is on the first floor right next to the garage? What don't you like about raising kids in this house? Because it's important for you to know everything about the product. And just like on a first date, the more questions you ask, the more the person in front of you is going to become into you. It works. It's the psychology of a conversation. And then remember, you have to talk as well. So I don't want you just asking questions and then saying nothing. And something that I learned when I was trying to act back in the day was you listen to respond. You don't listen to reply. How many times have you told a story to someone and they're looking off in the distance and they check their phone, and then when you're done with your story, they say, oh, that's cool. By the way, when I did something just like that, and they're all excited to tell their own story. That's someone, one, that is annoying, not a good friend, and two, that's someone who listened to you so that they could reply with what they wanted to say, instead of listening to you and responding to you, being empathetic with you. Wow, that's crazy. You had a daughter on the floor, you didn't make it to the hospital? That's insane. Not, oh, I just had my own baby. Isn't that cool? No, no one cares about you. You're the real estate agent. Everyone here cares about the client the same way you would on a first date. And you also want to make sure that you're asking questions that lead you to where you want to go, which is a signed listing agreement. So you want to ask smart questions like, why are you moving? Why do you want to move? Are you the sole decision maker? Maybe their parents bought the house with them. Maybe they bought in a trust. And you want to ask them financial questions as well. Do you have a loan on the property? How have you been on your loan payments? You want to ask them about the real estate taxes because maybe the real estate taxes are really high and they just got assessed and only they know about that, and that's going to make it harder for you to sell. So you want to ask as many questions about them as you do about the house. It's going to make them feel like you know exactly what you're doing because guess what? You do. And by doing that, you're setting expectations that put them in a great position to make a decision. And that decision is to list with you. So that's getting the listing. Step 2 is, oh my God, now I have the listing. Now what do I do? So we just talked about how selling is about listening. Selling is also about teaching. So you're going to teach your seller first about price. So you have to set the right price. And you do that with market data. Never rely on emotions, never rely on feelings. You rely on market data and use comps as your best friend. You don't want to price too high, you don't want to price too low. You want to price at market because you want to have the best chance at getting something sold. Now listen, I know that that's easier said than done. Trust me, I'm aware. I have a lot of listings that are priced way too high because I couldn't get the seller to come to reality. But I made the choice that I wanted the listing first and I didn't want to lose it to somebody else. And guess what? That's okay. I have a lot of listings that are also underpriced that still haven't sold. And it's a whole other issue I have to deal with. But the first thing you do when you get that listing is you settle on the right listing price. And you do it with as much math and data to support your decision behind you as you possibly can. And this is even more important when you have a listing that hasn't sold, because you always want to come back to the fact that you sat there and you went through the comparable sales. You looked at data. It wasn't just you saying to price it here because you want the listing. It was the market really indicating that we should price it here because that's where it should sell. And if the market has changed, then the market's changed. If buyer feedback hasn't been positive the way you wanted it to be, you know to use the good news sandwich, you know how to present it, and you know that you're going to have to make a slight adjustment the same way we talked about. So there's a lot of different scenarios you're going to go through with sellers, and you're going to figure them out step by step, really with experience and with everything that I've taught you throughout this entire course. But you also want to remember that this seller has signed an agreement with you. And it's not just an agreement that says if the house sells in the next 6 months, they will pay you a commission. No, this is a marriage agreement. You now are connected to this person by a contract that is a legal document that says that you guarantee you will communicate with them because you are their advisor. So many agents get fired for poor communication. And it blows my mind. What have we talked about through most of these videos? It's how to talk to clients, how to communicate information properly. Imagine you were married. Maybe you are married. Maybe you have a boyfriend or a girlfriend. Imagine if you know in your heart you love them, everything's great, you're working for them every day, but every time you go home, you don't even say hi. You never once during the day say you love them because it's not Monday, which is check-in day with your wife. Doesn't that sound weird? Yeah, because it is weird. Your seller who has agreed to let you sell their home, their largest asset, they need to be talked to. They need constant communication from you every day. And I don't care what you say. That's too much, that's too much. Really? A small text is too much? A small email is too much? Checking in every day and saying, hey, just to let you know, nothing else has come on the market today that competes with us. That's awesome. That's too much. You think your seller is going to fire you because you communicate with them too much? That has never happened in the history of the world. If it has, please find that example and send it to me with proof, and I will go back and I will redo this video. People get fired all the time because they don't communicate. Honestly, because they don't have anything to say, which blows my mind because you always have something to say. You have comps to show. You have market data to show and talk about. And hey, it hasn't sold because of X, Y, and Z. There's something you can think of almost every day to talk to your seller about. Because remember, once you have that listing agreement, you have that business card. You have that business card to get buyers, to get other sellers, to grow your business, to expand your business, to get more balls in the air. You don't want to get fired because you didn't talk to your clients, and problems will always happen in your listings. And don't overown the problem as well. You don't want to be the husband or the wife who's constantly playing the victim. It's not your fault. You talk to your client every day. They know what the comps are. They know where the market is. They know there hasn't been traffic because of whatever reason there hasn't been traffic, so they know it's not you. Own the solution, and they will own it with you. Now in the next video, you're gonna come with me on a real live pitch with a seller, and I wanna show you exactly how I put everything that we've just gone through to work.